Meanwhile, we've made our way over to the craft room. And you know that drawer in your bathroom that's just filled with forgotten scrunchies? Yep. They're just in there crying. Well, they are back in a big way. They're going to be smiling very soon because Orly is going to show us how to turn them into this season's hottest trend.
Yes.
Who knew?
I mean, okay, so let me say, scrunchies have been back for a minute, right? I've showed you how to make them before.
I just can't believe it.
I know. And the cool thing is that we've sort of like moved beyond the shock and awe that they're actually back. Yeah. We've gotten over it, and now we're finding really fun ways to make them cool and exciting and add a little flair to them and make them even more of a statement.
They're scrunchie 2.0.
They really are.
Yeah. Well, before you showed us how to make those really beautiful bow clips.
Yes, exactly. So you just saw a photo of that. Those are the big oversized bows that I did.
Those. Alexandra wears hers all the time.
She does, right? Yeah, you
really
took a couple home. And in the segment, I actually put one on Sadie Robertson, who was here as a guest. She's such a cutie. And they are clips. So the version I made there had no tail on them.
Right.
Just the big oversized bow with the clip. So this is kind of an elevated version. And you can see the one I'm wearing. I made a denim version, and it's a scrunchie that's around my hair. You can see it's all the way around with a bow and the two tails attached to it. So it's meant to be done with the bow on the bottom so that it hangs on the bottom of your hair.
So it's a fancy scrunchie. So it's basically taking the bow you made, taking your old scrunchies, putting them together, and they are a brand new look. We love it. And they're easy to make.
They really are, yeah.
All right, show us what we do.
So the first thing that you want to do is cut your fabric. So I've got a couple versions here you'll be able to see. Here's my fabric. I made it 4 inches wide.
Okay.
Now, however wide you want your scrunchie or your bow, you're going to double that distance because you're going to fold it in half.
Got it.
So you can make it as wide as you want. I wanted mine to be finished at 2 inches, which meant it needed to be 4 inches wide. And then as far as length is concerned, anywhere between like 16 to 22 inches is a good length for this.
Okay.
Okay, so once you cut it, now you're going to fold it in half because we're going to sew it right down the side, and that way we can flip it inside out. So you would just fold it in half in a simple straight stitch going all the way down.
All right.
When you sew it, you want to make sure that you're sewing it on a small stitch and a small seam allowance.
Right.
So you can see there, it's a really tight little stitch, and I did it in sort of like a beige thread there, so hopefully you can see it. Super tight, that way it's not gonna unravel, because once you flip it inside out, it'd be very hard to re-sew it if it started coming apart.
So don't hand sew?
I wouldn't.
Could you glue?
Fabric glue?
Okay, well,
I wouldn't. Yeah, this is one that I would definitely sew.
All right.
So once you have sewn it, you're gonna take a safety pin, put it on the end, and this is how you flip anything inside out, right, Debbie? I've done this 1 million of the times. This is how, if you're making straps for a dress or anything like that, you put the safety pin back into the center of the fabric, and you do a little smush and scooch.
This
is
is
a very
the
technical
tip
term.
Ever.
Yeah, you know.
Because, you know, a lot of times, if a lace comes out of your sweatshirt, you know what I mean, the drawstring, or out of your pants, everyone says, "Oh no, it's ruined." I'm like, no, this is the coolest thing.
That's exactly the right thing. This is a way to put anything. So whether you're flipping it inside out or you're running something through a drawstring into a waistband, you get all the way to the end, and you'll see I get the safety pin coming out, and now it's like magic.
Look at that.
Sort of like a fabric sausage. In a weird way.
It is like a magic trick.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
So now you have it flipped inside out. Now you're gonna take that same safety pin and put it on your elastic so you can actually get the elastic in.
Okay, so we do the same thing there, but you want to have more elastic than you need.
Yeah, exactly. So when you figure out exactly how much you need, you kind of want to think about like knowing that when you put a scrunchie on it, it fits pretty well. That's the right size. But I would give yourself at least 2 inches of excess, because when we're going to sew it, if it's such a tight fit and you're trying to hold it together and sew it, it'll be very difficult. Okay. So here we go. We put the safety pin again on right through.
There we go.
There we go. And now you would feed it in. So the only thing here that's different is that once you get about halfway through, you want to make sure right here, hold on to this side and do not let go.
All right.
So I'm scrunching, but I'm holding. Because if I let go,
then it's inside.
Yeah, I mean, what good does it do us, right? So you just feed it all the way through. Once it comes through the other end, I'm gonna grab this one.
There you go.
You would sew it together. Okay. Now what I did here was a zigzag stitch, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, so it's really tight, and then I cut off that excess I gave myself.
Perfect.
Right, so I made it big so it'd be easier to sew, and then I cut it off.
Got it.
Now we hide one side in the other. So you're just gonna tuck one side, doesn't matter which one. You would fold it over the side you're seeing, fold it over so it's clean, finished, and stitch right down here.
Okay.
Now the scrunchie part of this DIY is complete.
And now we add our bow.
Now we add our bow.
So let me ask you this. What if I have my scrunchies that are crying in my bathroom drawer? I don't need to make the scrunchies. I can just make the bow, right?
100%.
And then just sew it on. Or can I glue that part on?
You don't even need to. It's a tie situation.
What? Okay,
it's very,
show me.
very simple. So you can
Show
see
me.
here, this is an identical piece that we used before. So I had my 4 inches by 16 to 24 inches, flipped it inside out. The only difference is I pressed it. So you can
Okay.
see like how nice and crisp that is because you want that for your bow.
Sure.
I also, you can see here, I also just cut the
On an
end on an
angle.
angle just because it looks really cute. Now you want to find your seam that you had because it's going to be stitched and you'll see that, and you want to hide it with your bow. So put it right into the center.
So the bow is essentially removable.
100%.
And then you
removable.
can just use it like a ribbon.
Debbie, do you
Oh, this is
remember
great.
the amazing sandals
This
we
is
made
great.
yesterday?
I mean, honestly.
You could take the bow out of the sandal, tie it on your hair.
Scrunchie, and you are good to go.
Exactly. That's the thing that I love about
You
this.
can do it as a hair, like a hair band.
Yeah, because
this is endless.
What we don't need is just more stuff. So if we can
Correct.
find a way to reuse some of these items over and over again, so we
Yeah.
constantly get the satisfaction of newness without all the stuff, I mean, it's a win-win.
Look, Orly has her shoe in her hair. I love
Could
it.
you imagine? I'm like earrings. And the other thing, guys, that you can do if you want is you can add like a little trim. So I added a little
cute.
pom-pom trim, which again, if you think the way it would be like hanging in your hair, you know, when you have the little pom-pom, it's really fun.
That's adorable. I have to be honest, my mom has on some of her curtains things like this. I could use my mother's curtains.
That's exactly
Put
what
them in
this
my
was.
hair.
It was in the upholstery section at Joann's.
So was it really curtains? Oh, that's awesome.
Good
Darling,
eye.
and
Good
totally
eye,
there
Deb.
you go. I love you. For full instructions, you can go to hallmarkchannel.com.